Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about, I thought it would be such a fun idea. I've never seen anyone do this before, and I would love if people did this because I think it's just such a fun idea. I'm gonna be comparing TV shows slash movies to the books and say which one I liked better, if I liked them both, if one is way better or way worse, all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna start from the first books. Like, I'm gonna go in order of what I read first up until now of shows and movies slash books. I'm trying to make that make sense. I don't know if that made sense. It made sense in my head, but I don't know if it made sense once it came out. Anyways. So the first books that I'm going to start off with is a series, and it is The Summer I Turned Pretty, which, if you know me, is, you know, it's one of my favorite series ever. Books and show. I love these books so much. They're so good. And really, they're not different from the show whatsoever. Obviously, I can't say for the third book so far because we don't have the third season, but the first and second book are incredibly similar to the show. The only thing is they've added characters, so like Aunt Julia and Sky, both of them are not in the books whatsoever. And what's so crazy is I love Cam Cameron in the show, but in the books I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He got on my nerves in the books way more, or he doesn't even give it on my nerves in the show. So just, yeah, I don't like Cam Cameron in the books really, and Jer annoys me just as much in the books, and I love Conrad just as much in the books than I do in the show, as I do in the show. There's a few things that are taken out of the books, or that aren't in the books, I should say, that are in the show, but not like an insane amount, such as the motel scene in the end of season 2. That's not in the books, but it wasn't even like a big difference to where it was like, oh, I'm sad that it wasn't in the books, or I'm sad that they put that in the show. It's little things like that I mean, it's not a huge big deal or difference. But one thing I do like more in the show is how much more involved Steven is, and I love his character in the show, but I don't love him in the books. He is just kind of that mean older brother, and he kind of drove me a little crazy in the books, but I love him in the show. Book Steven, And then Taylor, absolutely despise in the books. Like season 1 Taylor in the show, no, not so much. Season 2 Taylor got a little better, a little bit, but book Taylor, no, not at all. And then also Belly, I want to like punch her sometimes in the books. Well, kind of in the show too, but a little more in the books. She's just so indecisive, and everything she does and says, she like second guesses herself or acts like a baby in her head. Like, oh, I hated the way that I sounded, or I hated the way I did this or said this or whatever. Oh, I hated the way I blinked. Like, everything is an issue for her. And that drove me crazy. I'm like, girl, calm down. It's really okay. You're fine. Everything's all right. Just stop. Stop, Belly. Stop, girl. So overall, not a huge difference whatsoever between the books and the show. I love both of them. I would give both a 5 out of 5. The books and the show. Obsessed. And Team Connie, baby. Oh yeah, speaking of which, that just reminded me. Also in the show, Belly and Conrad sneak away to the beach house and have a little, you know, night. And things happen that night. That's not in the books. And I love it both ways. I love that part in the show, and I love the whole part when they're together and everything at the beach house in the books. So both ways are well done and great. Just that scene is not in the books. I love it both ways. Okay, battery got too full. I apologize, but as I was saying, I think I was saying that I can literally recite this whole entire book because I loved it that much. It was so good. Again, not a whole lot different than the movie. I really enjoyed them both, but I did enjoy the book maybe a little more just because I love the ending so much more in the book than I did the movie. The movie ending was so devastating. Like, I'm not a crier. I didn't cry, but I was fairly close to crying at the movie. And the book ending is so much better. It's so much happier. I when I read this, I was like, why didn't they do the ending like this in the movie? Whose decision was that, huh? I want to talk to them. Because why not make us happy instead of broken hearted? Okay? That's all I want to say. But yeah, not a whole lot different. I love Will in this book. He's so funny and so just like, I don't know, not like, I guess sassy, but such a sassy boy, but I love him and he's so funny. And I love how they both fell for each other really fast. Well, kind of, I don't know, kind of both, right? They both kind of fall for each other immediately. But yeah, I honestly can't think of anything that was like insanely different in the book than in the movie, except the ending, like I said, which, oh, I just can't. As I just said that I can recite the whole thing, now I can't even think. Is Pope, right? Is her friend with CP as well? Pope, right? Isn't it Pope? Is it not Pope? I'm pretty sure it's Pope. That happens the same way, how he passes away in the book than in the movie. And it was so sad, even watching and reading it. So sad. But also, I would give the movie and the book a 5 out of 5. I love them both so much. And I think it is a really interesting book as well. Just real quick, to learn more about CP, because I mean, I know of it, I'm familiar with it, but just reading more about it, I'm like, gosh, it's just so sad. Well, I guess there were a few things that were different, like in the movie when she takes her clothes off to have him see all of her scars and everything. That was such a beautiful moment in the movie. I think that's a little different in here. And this just goes to show like how sassy he is, because then I believe then he took his clothes off in the books. And did he take his clothes off in the movie? Yeah, I think so. But then in the book, she just like sat there and stared at him for a second. It was such a cute little part. So innocent, but so cute. I loved it. And then one of my favorite books ever, My Life with the Walter Boys. Obsessed with this book so much. I also love the show, but the book is so different than the show. And to be honest, I kind of like the book a little better. As much as I do like the show, I love the book though. And Cole, I love Cole in this book so much. He's one of my book boyfriends. I love him. And there was this specific scene that was not in the show, and I wish that it were, because I loved it so much. She like I believe they were all playing hide and go seek, so she was in the pantry with one of the little Walter Boy brothers, and Cole started coming in, but then saw Jackie in the pantry, and so she hurried up and pulled him in so he didn't ruin her hiding spot. And they were so close to each other in the pantry, and he started making inappropriate jokes to her, and it was the funniest thing ever. And I was all like blushing and giggling and kicking my feet and falling off my bed and everything. I love Cole in this book so much. And honestly, several of the Alex scenes in the show were all Cole scenes. Like, Cole is a massive, like, pretty much the main character in this book. Obviously, he's a main character in the show as well, but Alex just wasn't as around, thankfully, in the book as he is in the show. So two of the scenes that, okay, so in the show where Alex is like measuring Jackie and they're like so close, I was like, ugh. First of all, watching that part, I'm like, ew, no, I don't like this. That scene in the show, and when Alex takes Jackie like on the horse ride and Constellation starts playing and he shows her the New York City like trees, that whole part, I think you guys know what I'm saying. Those were all Cole scenes in the book. And I loved it so much more as Cole because he just makes everything more attractive and sexy, more so than Alex in the show. Alex is like nerdy and like, no. And Cole's like, okay, I like it. So most of this book is different than the show, but this also ends like how the show ends. So I'm really curious to see and know how they're gonna do season 2, since there's nothing more to the book than there was to the ending of the show. But all in all, I really love the show and the book. I was almost gonna say like a 4.5 for the show and a 5 for the book, but I think I'll give both of them a 5 because they're great. Okay, a 4.5 for the show and a 5 for the book because I do just like the books so much better. Just, you know, just that notch, and just Cole's Cole. Like, come on. I love my C boys, I guess. My C book boys. Okay, and then next is To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. Okay, we'll just get right into this one. I did not like the books. No, did not. I love the movies so much, and the movies are way better than the books, if I'm being honest, which made me sad because I wanted to like the book so much. Like, I was almost going to just DNF it with the first book, because I just couldn't get into it. It took me like 100 pages, 100 or so, maybe a little more pages to even start being like, okay, like, but like, nothing was really similar to the movies. I mean, like, the plot, like the trope, obviously the fake dating, but other than that, like, just nothing was really similar. And in the movies, Peter, I love Peter so much in the movies. Like, oh my gosh, hello? And in the books, like, he just didn't do anything for me. I for sure thought he would be another book boyfriend. No thanks. You can have him, Laura Jean, because no thanks. And then their scene in the movie, in the last movie, right, wasn't in here. It like led up, but nothing happened. He decided not to do anything with her, so that's a little different. And then really, like, honestly, you guys, everything's different. I can't even say like specific things, but just because everything's different. Also, oh my gosh, hated Kitty. Kitty is so annoying in the books, like even more than she is in the movies. Also, I didn't really care for Margot. Oh my gosh, and then, okay, so one of the things that was so different is how Josh found out, and the whole part in the movie, like when she sees Josh coming up to her and she hurries up and like kisses Peter on the track, that was all different than the books. I don't know. I think I do prefer it more in the movies as well, because the books were like, Josh came up to her at her locker in school and like confronted her about it, and she was panicking and everything, and then she was like, it's okay because I have a boyfriend, and he's like, who? And then she like scans and then sees Peter, and he had just broken up with Jen, so, which also, they always call her Genevieve in this, and I'm like, no, she's Jen in the movies anyways. So then she's like, Peter Kavinsky, so she runs past Josh and like just leaves him behind and jumps into Peter's arms and just kisses him. So in a way it's a little similar to the movie, but also not. Also, after she kisses him, then she looks at him and is like, thank you, and he's like you're welcome. That's it? Someone just lays one on you and you're like, you're welcome. Like, what? Anyways, I just wouldn't necessarily recommend these. It's not books that I like would want to read over. I think these were some of my lowest rated book scores. I think I would give these a 3 out of 5 and the movies a 5 out of 5, I suppose. I just know these books didn't do it for me. Laura Jean drove me crazy a lot as well, because she was just, I don't know. But Peter was weird too. I just didn't love it. Oh my gosh, and Peter's mom in this hated her so bad. She was so irritating and made Laura Jean break up with Peter, or made Laura Jean feel like she had to, because Peter was doing his own thing, and I don't know, like it was just like almost she thought Peter was too good for Laura Jean, and that whole scene and everything made me like just irritated the poop out of me, and I'm like, go away, Peter's mom. I don't even remember your name. It doesn't even matter. You don't even matter because you're annoying as heck. I know. She was so irritating, and all of that was not in the movies either. And something, oh my gosh, I just remembered. Okay, now I'm remembering because it's coming back to me. Something that irritated me so bad, and I literally wanted to just throw Laura Jean like out of a window, is she kept pushing Peter to talk to his dad when Peter didn't want anything to do with his dad. And that was irritating me so bad, because I'm like, just leave it alone. He doesn't want to talk to his dad. Stop forcing him and making him feel like it. His dad's a piece of junk. Just let him do his own thing with his new family. Don't make Peter feel anything because he doesn't talk to his dad. And then Laura kept the secret from Peter that Laura had met his dad, and his dad showed up to one of Peter's games and didn't want him to know. But so like Laura Jean kept all of that from him. It was irritating, and she annoyed the heck out of me with all of that stuff, because I'm like, girl, stop. I don't like that. I don't like you. And we never saw Peter's dad in the movies, thankfully, because he's a piece of junk and I just don't like him. And Jen's like irritating as well. I also want to throw her out of a window. These books, you guys, I'm just stressed now. These books are making me stress back out, and I'm forgetting my train of thought and words and everything, and I need to move on to the next books because I just can't. I'm stressing out from those stupid books now. I just can't. I can't. So let's go on to the next book. Why don't we? The next book is The Notebook, okay? I wanted to like this book. I didn't. I read this book in a day. It only took me a few hours in total to read. I wanted to like it, and I just didn't. I love the movie so much, and the book, no. Again, this book was like nothing like the movie at all. Because like Noah in the movie, like, okay, and he didn't do anything for me in the book. They're both so much different in the book than they are in the movie, and how they met is totally different. Like right away, they met at the like fair carnival just like they did in the movie, but they like started hanging out right away, versus like she was playing like hard to get in the movie, which I liked. I liked that so much better in the movie, how she played hard to get and how he, you know, jumped on top of a Ferris wheel and like held on. None of that was in the books. They literally just met and started hanging out, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I'm really curious because at the end of the movie, obviously they both pass away with each other, but in the book, it didn't make me feel like they passed away. It almost gave the idea of they didn't. So I was kind of confused because I'm like, did they or did they not pass away together at the end of the book? Because it doesn't seem like it. If you've read this, how did you take it? Because I don't think they passed away. Like, I was so confused. I was like, huh? I don't know. But also their scenes, I think there were only like 2, and I didn't really read the second one, and I kind of skimmed over some of the first one because I didn't know when it would end, so I was just kind of skimming. And they just like were they were just like licking each other the whole time, and I thought that was really weird. But I don't know how that compares to the movie because I've never watched the scenes in the movie. I always skip over it, so I don't know if that's any different. I was like, okay, you guys have fun licking each other. Have at it, I suppose. You guys, I don't know. It wasn't fun. It wasn't just a good book, and it didn't have all those cute and romantic and just butterflies feelings that the movie does. Noah wasn't, you know, butterflies in your tummy feeling. Allie wasn't hard to get. So I would give the movie a 5 out of 5 because I love the movie so much, but I think I would give the book, I guess a 3, I suppose. Okay, I wanted to find this page just so I got it right. The whole cute rain scene in the movie when she's like, why didn't you write me? That whole entire thing, and then they kiss. That was so different than the book, and I like it all the way better in the movie than the book because none of that happened. They got off of the canoe and then they were both staring at each other thinking things, little inappropriate things, and then they just stared at each other in the rain and then went back in the house. So that was completely different, and I'm like, okay, I like that whole entire part so much better in the movie. It's just so romantic, it's so cute, it's so, oh my gosh, like twisting your hair feelings, and not in the book. And then also, she had, the first day she was over there, she went back to the hotel that night. She didn't stay at his house, and she painted. She went back home because then to the hotel and started painting. She had that inspiration back because of Noah and painted the whole entire house and the lake, river, canal, I don't know, the little water part and everything, I believe, and just from her memory, and then ended up giving that to Noah. So that was different, and I did like that part, that she had the whole everything from her memory. And I'm like, okay, is that what she was supposed to be painting on the porch in the movie? I'm not really sure. 95% of this book was not like the movie, and I just prefer the movie so much more. And I want to know what you think with all of these books, but especially like The Notebook. I don't know. I just want to know your thoughts. And then right now I am currently reading Damsel, and this is such a hard read because of the words in it. It's not necessarily old English, but kind of, and then a lot of fantasy words that I'm like, I don't know. So I might read something else while reading this because it's a hard one, but so far I do like the movie better because I just don't understand this book really. But I can't say for sure yet since I haven't read all of it. I've only gotten, I don't know, 10-20 pages in. All right, besties, that's all of the cutie little books that I've read that are movie and show based. I guess based, right? Is that the right word? I don't know. my brain isn't braining right now. Let me know which ones you've watched the movie and read the books to and what you thought. I want to know all of your thoughts and see if we agree. See if you like the show movie better than the books, or if you disagree, just let me know. If that's okay if you disagree, I just want to know either way. This is like 20 pounds right here. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on all of my social medias, they're linked down in the description as always. And if you want to follow me on my Bookstagram, that's down in the description as well. And I'll see and talk to you in the next video. Bye!